back again. I'm gonna do some noodles for you. I've had a request for noodles, and I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna start the chicken first. I wanna get my chicken done so that when I get the noodles done, it'll all be ready. And my noodle recipe is one that my grandmother used, but I also had two great friends that used this same recipe. It was the exact recipe that they had, and one of them's name was Mary Street, who was a very special lady to me, and the other special lady was Edie Dawkins. And so we've all had used this recipe, and that's what I'm going to use today, and I'll be giving you the recipe for that. So anyway, I'm going to show you how I do my chicken, and the recipe called for 3 breasts or 3 thighs, and I prefer thigh meat, so that's what I got, or 4 is what it called for. And I only have 3, so I'm going to make do because I don't need as much anyway. And I'm not washing my chicken because if this water gets hot enough, it's going to kill all the germs that's on there or whatever. So we don't have to worry about doing that. And I'm going to put that in the bowl, and then I'm going to wash my hands because they can be contaminated, and I don't want that. And I was also going to share with you that I've cooked for many, many years for kids camps, and that was what I love to do. I'm going to add salt, and I'm just sprinkling some in the water, not measuring it. And that's besides I had a grandmother that was a great cook and a mother that was a great cook, and I enjoyed cooking anyway. But after I got started cooking at camps, I really loved doing that, and I done it for many, many years. And last year was the first year that I wasn't able to go or to cook. I had to sit down. This year we didn't have camp, but last year I had to sit down most of the time and just bark orders. But I made the menus and the grocery list and all that. But when you get older, your body just don't let you do what you want to. But anyway, I'm going to put the chicken over on the stove. If I can get my stove to light, it's always giving me trouble. But it did. I'm going to put it on medium heat. And I'm going to put the lid on it for a little bit. I'll keep checking it. But I wanted to do that much, and then I'll come back and finish the video, and I'll be making the noodles and show you how to do that and give you the recipe for both of these. Okay? I'm back. The chicken is done, and I've took it off the bone, all that I want. I'm only using 2 of the thighs because it was quite a bit of meat for the amount that I'm going to make, but I'm going to give you the full recipes. But what we're going to do is we're going to make the noodles in the mixer. And I've already measured out 3 eggs, which I'm going to put in. And I've got the milk measured out, which is 1/3 cup. And I'll put that in. Now, the milk that I usually use is Mamaw. I'm not promoting this either, but this is what I use for my pumpkin pies, and it is so much better than other evaporated milks. This is, it's called filled milk, but you can put this in the refrigerator and take it out and put it in a bowl and beat it up, and it'll whip up like whipping cream. And it's much richer and has much better flavor than just the regular evaporated milks. Okay, I've got that in there. Now it said to measure your milk by your eggshells. Use an eggshell, 3.5 eggshells for the milk. But I've done that and figured out what that comes to. And if you have a normal size egg, and it's 1/3 of a cup, so that's why I went ahead and did that. And I'm also going to put a 1/2 teaspoon of salt in there, and I'm going to mix that up. And then we're going to put a cup of flour. And it says to put enough flour in there till the dough leaves the side of the bowl, which it's not doing that. So I think 2 cups is what I've done before, so that I would know. I tried to measure it. It's hard to try to tell someone I don't have a recipe, or you just do it till this or whatever. And it's easier if you measure it out and can tell people what they need to. It's starting to leave the side of the bowl. I'm gonna go ahead and put the rest of it in there. Yes. And I'm gonna put flour on the counter. But the recipe actually says 3 eggs, 2 cups of flour, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1/3 cup of Milnot, which I used regular milk because I didn't want to open this can, but this is what I normally use, is Milnot. So I wanted you to have the exact recipe. Get this down off of the mixer. Like I said, I rolled the dough in thirds, and that's what that first bunch was 1/3 of it. It's easier to roll out that way instead of trying to do it all at once, because it's harder. You wouldn't have that big enough area, because you have to roll your dough very thin, your noodles really thin, and keep lots of flour on it. We'll try this again. I don't know what made my camera do that. Okay. Try again. Try again. Anyway, I had gotten the dough out of the mixer, and I divided it in thirds. Like I said, it takes a lot of flour. I don't know if you guys are as messy as what I am, but I'm pretty messy in the kitchen. I'll just let you know that right now. I'll just let you know that right now. And I didn't get this, it was a smaller batch. Okay, I'm going to take my noodle cutter. If you don't have one, you can use a pizza cutter. You can roll this up like a cinnamon roll, like you was going to make cinnamon rolls, and then slice it with a knife. Okay, now we've got noodles again. I'll see how the broth is doing. And what I was telling you was, in the broth, if it's not quite strong enough, I use this bouillon. And I'm going to add some. It's called Better Than Bouillon. And this is chicken. I also use the beef. And I'm going to put about a teaspoon in it. Show you what it looks like. I'm going to put, not heaping or anything, I'm going to put this into the boiling broth. This is my handy dandy little tray that my grandson let me have of his. It's a Frisbee, and I'm telling you, this comes in handy, you won't believe. I use it for everything. When I'm making things and I use the sifter that has flour in it, sometimes or coating stuff, I will do it over this little Frisbee. I don't know, something. had to use one time because I couldn't find something. I don't know where I was at. And I didn't have one of my own. And my great-grandson, Noah, had one. And I said, Noah, I need that Frisbee. So he let me have it, which I appreciated very much, and I've used it and used it. So thank you again, Noah. I'm using the Frisbee you let me have. He'd never played with it, never even played with it. Okay, here's a bunch of noodles, and I'm gonna put them, I'll put a few more of these in here, because I don't know. But here's the chicken that I'm putting in. And like I said, you can put all of yours in the pan, all 4 of your breasts or your thighs, whatever you want, and you can use as much or as less amount of the noodles as you want. And in they go. Just do a few in at a time. I'm going to go ahead and add the meat. Give it some more flavor. I'm going to turn that on medium heat. Let that come back to a boil first, which I'll wash my hands again. If you want your broth thicker, you can mix up a little bit of cool broth and add some cornstarch, and it'll thicken up. And that didn't take very long, did it? And I told you I use my mixer for a lot of things. This is my noodle cutter, and it's real handy. But yeah, I use the mixer to mix up the biscuits, the light bread, the crust, pie crust, the noodles, and all my other mixes and cookie doughs and all of that. So anyway, I'm gonna let those cook, and I think I told you all of the recipe. It was 3 eggs, 2 cups of well, go ahead and put the 3 eggs, the half a teaspoon of salt, and the 1/3 cup of milk or meal knot into your mixer and mix that up. Then add 1 cup of flour, mix that in, and then add the 2nd cup of flour. And if you don't think it's got enough flour in it, it's still too sticky, you can add a little bit more, because you've got to have plenty of flour in it so that when you go to roll it out, it won't stick. And keep adding flour as you roll it out. Turn it over, put more flour on it, keep flour underneath of it, and roll it just really, really thin. Here's what the noodles look like. And what you have left, you can go ahead and make more noodles and dry them if you want, and then save them for another time. Okay? Alrighty, well, I will be back when the noodles get done and show you what they look like. Okay, I'm back. I've got the noodles cooked. I cooked them for about 10 minutes on medium heat, and then I turned them down to simmer and cooked them about 20 minutes. Here's all the rest of the noodles. I've left them out here to dry, and when they get all dried, I'll put them in a Ziploc bag and put them in the freezer. And here's my bowl of noodles that I just took out of the pot. It's steaming hot. Steaming hot. Didn't think that, I thought the 3 chicken thighs was gonna be too much meat for me, because I made a small amount, because I'm just here by myself and I don't eat very much at one time. So I didn't want to cook up a lot. I'd rather cook another batch later. So good. So good. Well, I'm gonna leave you at it. I wanna hear from you and see how many of you made some noodles. Okay, I'll be seeing you soon, I hope.